Welcome to the Wealth BuildHERS Podcast, the women entrepreneurs' home for building successful businesses that generate passive income. You have entered a judgment-free zone, so give yourself permission to shake off all the things you haven't done, because your journey to owning a thriving business you love starts right now.
Hello, ladies, and welcome to this episode of the Wealth BuildHERS Podcast. I am your host, Renee Williams, along with my co-host, Camille Davis. We are talking to a good friend of ours today, Misty Hassenstab. Misty is a full-time entrepreneur. She is a real estate investor. She's a business and mindset coach with years of experience in wholesaling, flips, rentals, and new construction. Misty is also a brand new mom that she just welcomed. And so you may hear some reference in the podcast to being pregnant, but she's had the baby since then. Misty is extremely passionate about helping other women create a life and a business filled with passion, positivity, and purpose. She is a managing partner in Guideway Investment Partners, Elevated Development, and Level Up Remodeling. She is also the co-founder of the Houston Women's Real Estate Investor Alliance. We are going to have a fun conversation with Misty talking about everything in real estate investing, building an REI business, and having a CEO mindset, which is hugely important as you're building your business. So listen up as we have a great conversation with Misty starting right now. Ladies, welcome to the Wealth BuildHERS Podcast, and we are here today with Misty Flanagan. Yay!
Hello, ladies.
Welcome to the show, Misty. So Misty is a longtime friend of Cammie's. I had the pleasure of meeting you, I think in 2019 on Facebook. You have a happening Facebook group. So tell us about you and what you got going on.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me, ladies. I'm so excited you're doing this podcast. This is awesome. We need more powerful ladies in the real estate investing industry, and you two powerhouses are leading the charge. I love being on that train with you ladies. So this is going to be a fun conversation. So so Camille and I know each other. She is one of my buyers. We actually have done some deals together. And we totally connected right out the gate. And I'm so happy now to be connected to you, Renee, and, just joining forces and building our businesses together. And I got started in real estate investing in November 2016. My husband and I just decided we were tired of the corporate rat race. And it was really his dream, if I'm being totally honest. And I was just going to be the supportive, spouse. And then he took me to a, 3-day event. And I just was like, oh, I can do this. I want to do this. This looks fun. So we jumped in full time to real estate investing in 2016 and have not looked back. We do wholesaling. Obviously, I do that. We do some rentals, flips, and our primary focus is on new construction. And so we've been building a lot of townhome communities in the greater Houston area, mostly inside the loop for those of you that know Houston. And now we are moving in a super exciting direction. We are starting to build to rent subdivisions on the outskirts of Houston. We have 2 projects that we're about to start underway in Cypress. As you know, we have a ton of amazing people moving to Texas and not a lot of places for them to live. So we need to continue building more homes for them. And not everybody wants to be a homeowner, and not everybody can afford to be a homeowner, especially in a hot market like what we're seeing right now. But people want to live in brand new, nice, beautiful homes. And so we've been doing our research on this build to rent strategy for a couple of years now, and we are beyond excited to pull the trigger and start building that out and seeing the potential. And we're just going to keep watching the market and pivoting as we go. And that's kind of what this business is all about, which is one thing I love about it. So there's never a dull moment, as you ladies probably know.
Oh my goodness. No, there is not. So Camille, you're kind of doing something sort of similar with the development stuff, right?
Right. We're building by the University of Houston. We have 2 lots. Actually, we have 3 now. I just bought another one
Awesome.
2 months ago, but it has taken us a whole year, over a year now, we're just trying to get permits to build this building. So we keep thinking any day we will be ready to build, but we've just been sitting on it. So but yes, it's very exciting. It's going to be 2 fourplexes, I guess 3 fourplexes now. Awesome. And we'll just rent them. Rent them out.
So great. That's a perfect location. We've looked at a lot of land in that, and if you were able to snag some land there for a good price now, then you did good, girl, because it's tough now. It's like all of our projects inside the loop, we've been looking for land, and it's just been harder and harder to buy. And so that's kind of why we started looking on the outskirts. And we've also seen a little bit of a migration, but you're still going to have tons of people coming and wanting to live inside the city as well. So, I mean, they're just all coming to Houston all over the place, or the Houston area. So that's an amazing opportunity. I'm excited to hear more about that. And yes, I feel your pain on the permitting. I understand.
Yes. And the longer we wait, the more freaked out my husband gets and thinks, this is costing us way too much money. But
are you working with a permit expediter? I definitely recommend.
I should have. Yeah. I'm not.
Yes. And that helps a lot. Definitely try to do that, because man, and that's what we've kind of noticed too. Part of the reason we started moving outside of Harris County was it has been getting a little more difficult to get permitting, inspection processes, those sorts of things. But there still is such a need for more housing, in Harris County, in, downtown area. So, it's tough because we need it, but they're making it a little more difficult for us to do.
Yeah. So. I have a question about that, Misty. So for the layperson who's listening, and we've got a lot of ladies who listen who may be newer investors, tell me what a permit expediter what does a permit expediter do? And then the next question is, what's the difference between Harris County and like the city of Houston permitting? Right.
So, a permit expediter is somebody that already has established relationships with people, in the city that help with permitting, help with inspections, those sorts of things. And so you can hire a company or a service to help you facilitate that. It is a little, as newer, we didn't start building until 2018 was when we created Elevated Development. And being a newer builder, you don't have those established relationships. And we had actually met a permit expediter when we lived in Austin. Oddly enough, when Jason and I moved to Texas, we rented a room from an Airbnb host as we were looking for a place for us to actually live. And he was a permit expediter. So we learned all about that. And he's still a very, very good friend of ours. James Gatlin, if you're in Austin and looking for a permit expediter, look him up. So they really help move that process along much, much quicker. It is absolutely worth the money that you spend for that service, because just as Camille has shared, the longer that goes on, the more holding costs you have, the more nervous you're getting. Now, good thing for Camille is we're seeing the market continue to go up. So, you should be totally fine. There's right. not, but also the cost of materials is going up. So, we're starting phase 2 on one of our projects in the WREIA area, and our lumber cost alone is going to cost us $200,000 more than what we originally budgeted for. Now, fortunately, we have cushion in our pricing and everything, but $200,000, that's a big jump there. So there's all these factors that are involved, and you really do want to get things built quicker. And, she wants to get them rented, obviously. So we've noticed in the cities, it does prove to be a little bit more difficult to get things pushed along, obviously, especially with COVID, which you were trying to do that during COVID, Camille. Mm-hmm. People were scarce. There wasn't a lot happening. And so it was very frustrating for those of us trying to get permits and inspections and all of that done. Now, what we've noticed is in the smaller cities, in the suburbs, there's less red tape. There's just, you have more opportunities to have relationships with people because it's just a smaller setting. My husband goes to MUD meetings all the time, city council meetings all the time, building these relationships, letting them know what we're building. They're on board with what we're building. So it's just been easier to get things approved. So it just, it's a little bit, it really is a little bit easier outside of the major cities, but still it comes down to, we still need more housing, in the city of Houston. And so, it'd be nice if they'd work with us a little bit more than they do sometimes, but it is what it is. You just have to learn to navigate it, and definitely having people like that on your team. I call it on your power team. It helps immensely push that along quicker. So if you are building, and especially if you're newer, I would definitely look into some permit expediters and see if they could help you push that process along.
Right. I think we'll get that on because we started the first 2 lots a year ago. This new lot that we're doing has just been 2 months. So maybe we'll just do the permit expediter on that one. But then also I think of it as a mindset thing. So I could get completely freaked out and think, okay, we just need to sell this because we're holding and all the costs are going up and we're paying for all these things. But then you have to bring yourself back and say, but the market's also going up. This is also a long-term hold for us. So even if we're into it too much money, and hopefully it'll be worth more by the time we're finished anyway, it's that thing where you have to just stick to your guns, stick to your gut, and
don't freak out. Yes.
And it will be completely fine because we will still cash flow. We will still we'll have a 30-year loan on it that it will make sense because it's being paid back over 30 years. And so it's okay even if it's upside down when we finish.
Absolutely.
It will not be.
Because of the location that you're in and the long-term strategy that you're using. What I'm finding a lot with my coaching clients right now is they're buying new construction now. They're Airbnb-ing it. They're, where before it would be like, why are you paying retail and why are you buying new construction? Well, because they know, one, it's going to be worth more, with the way the market is going, and two, it's a long-term play. So they can pay retail now knowing they're going to keep it long-term. And like you said, even if they're not making money right out the gate, they will. So you have to remind yourself of what is my exit strategy here, and remain calm and patient. And what can I control? What are the things that I can control? Bringing on a permit expediter is one thing that you can control. How fast the city moves, not so much. But if you can bring somebody in to help facilitate that process, that is something that you can control. So I'm so glad that you brought that in, because that is super, super, super important. You don't want to get freaked out and miss an opportunity because, you're having to hold a little bit longer, because the market's going to shift and change all the time. Right. And you really just have to know and be confident. And, sometimes you do need to make those executive decisions. But if you're doing long-term play, then, you guys, especially where you are.
That's the goal. That's the goal. Just keep it. And in the future, it will be my kids' college or whatever retirement.
Let's talk about that a little bit. So the fact that real estate is very, very forgiving is the word that always comes to mind for me. You could have been in 2008 holding a property that you were upside down on, but if you were still making the payments and you didn't lose that property to foreclosure, today that very same property is worth at least in a certain markets $100,000 more. Exactly. Depending on what market you're in. Exactly. So real estate is very forgiving if you just hold it through the storm, which means that you have to be well capitalized. And so that's a fancy way of saying, ladies, you got to have money in the bank, or you have to have some type of rainy day fund to help you complete your projects and get them to stabilization. Once it's stabilized and you put a tenant in it, then it doesn't matter what happens to the market, because the tenant's paying the mortgage every month. So you don't have to worry as much. So what are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree. It's every time that, any women that I'm working with start to panic about, so many women, especially, or just people in general, I should say, are like, Misty, I don't want to get into this market right now. It's so competitive. It's so hot. And I'm like, well, yes. And that is the reason you should get into the market right now, right? This is the perfect time. And when is real estate investing not competitive? I mean, really, let's be totally honest. Even if there is a downward shift, if you were a good investor, you know how to navigate those waters, it's still competitive. And so that's where it's just so important to understand what your goals are, what your strategy is, what your marketing campaigns are doing for you, you know, and staying on top of that and not getting flustered and frustrated and being like a squirrel, you know, or shiny object syndrome. Because if you stay the course, there is so much opportunity. Now, I will say too, you want to stay on top of what's going on in the market to know if you want to pivot, which direction to pivot in. You know, a lot of my clients are now going the Airbnb route where they were only wanting to do long-term, you know, just regular rental, build regular rental portfolios. And they see the opportunity now with Airbnb. And so are shifting, you know, we have shifted from building, we're still building multi-units and townhomes, but we have really shifted our focus now to the build to rent, you know, subdivision. So you can shift and whatnot, but there was a lot of planning and a lot of strategy behind it. It wasn't just the shiny object syndrome of let's chase this, let's chase that. It's why are you going to shift? What are you trying to achieve there? Again, knowing your numbers, knowing the plan, really understanding that. Right. And when you have that, it doesn't really matter if there's 100 other people, 1,000 other people, 1 million other people in the industry that you're in, because you're doing things differently. You're prepared, you're confident. You know, the conversations I have with sellers are very different from the conversations most investors have with sellers. And that's what separates me from them. I don't feel scarcity at all. And so, you know, it's really staying the course and understanding what you're doing and having the patience. Let me tell you, ladies, it is crazy how many people, and I understand also though, because it kind of gets advertised as get rich quick. This can happen overnight, you know. No, like I hate to burst somebody's bubble.
It's a marathon. It's not a sprint.
No, it is not. And that is one of the mindset shifts that I definitely have to work on with my coaching clients is, you know, they're very frustrated when they find me because they've been trying to do this, you know, and not successful. And some of them, it has been years and they just haven't, you know, like I said, had the plan, had the strategy, really understood what they were doing. And some of them just got started and tried it a month and, you know, they're not rich overnight. So it really is a long-term, you know, plan and making it successful, making it, you know, are there people that come and go and maybe make, you know, quick money on a quick flip or a wholesale deal or whatever? Absolutely. But if you're really trying to build an actual business, you do need to have patience. You need to have strategy. You need to have planning. And that's so important. And that's really in any business. It's not just real estate investing. That's in any business. You know, we go to school for 4+ years to get a college degree, but then we become entrepreneurs and we think it happens overnight. Why is that? Why do we allow ourselves 4+ years there, but we don't even allow ourselves, you know, 4 months at trying to be an entrepreneur? It just blows my mind. And so having that patience is so important, along with the planning and the strategy and the support too. You know, having people around you that can support you, a coach, a mentor, a program, something like that to really help you facilitate everything and bring it all together and implement correctly. Make sure you stay on track, hold you accountable, those sorts of things.
I want to come back to the coaching in just a bit, but right now I want to talk to you and Camille about your team. So there are a few key people you need to have because real estate investing is a team sport. You can't, you know, hammer the hammer and acquire the property and do, you know, and get the tenant in all at the same time, just you by yourself. So kind of tell me who are the key positions or like the key roles on each of your teams?
Yeah, great question. I love that because power teams are something that are so important. I don't want to build these businesses by myself. I'm such a team type player, and it really is so important, especially if you're looking to scale. And so we talk about this actually in the Her Mindset Matters REI program. We dedicate a whole week to networking and building your power team and vetting people and all of that, because you bring in partners in a different level. You bring in partners that, you know, maybe you partner with a business on, like our elevated development company and our level up remodeling company. We have another couple, they're investors, full-time investors that we're partnered with. Mm-hmm. And so Jason and I are really the boots on the ground. That's my husband. You know, he has the background and experience in new construction and building things and civil engineering and all of that. And they both have an oil and gas background, more in, finances and whatnot. So that's really what they have brought in. And so that partnership has really been very beneficial in helping us grow that business. And then we have agents that are selling our units that we're building. We have lenders that we're working with that we built really great relationships with that are giving us awesome interest rates on these loans. I'll just be really honest. We have passive investors that invest in our projects. They don't want to come out and swing hammers and build things, but they want a return on their money. And so our goal is, we give them a return and they turn around and go, here you go, guys, do it again. We have people like permit expediters and subcontractors, and just, there's a ton of people that really help us facilitate these businesses. And then for myself, when I work with pre-foreclosure people stopping their, helping them stop their foreclosures, I noticed that obviously the number one thing was these people were not so much worried about their house and selling it and whatever. A lot of them didn't want to, because their first question to me was, Misty, well, where do I go? What do I do? So I created a team around me of relocation specialists to help them find a new place to live, credit repair specialists to help them build their credit back up, movers with moving discounts that could help them. It was, again, creating that team so that we can provide more value to the people that we're working with. And so in every one of my businesses, I've created these teams that have really helped us do more, help more people, build more, more opportunities. And it's a lot more fun as well. But you need to vet all these people. You need to make sure you're aligned. You need to make sure you're on the same page with how you do business. That's why Camille and I have done deals together and worked very well together, because we're on the exact same page about how we do business and how we talk to people and how we treat people. Yeah. And that's so important when you're building your team. I cannot stress that enough, to vet people,
I think that's key. That's key. I mean, you can find people to do things anywhere, but to make sure that your values align and that you get along as people too. And I wish that's something I would have done sooner, is get people on my team, because I didn't realize I was in the way. Like my bookkeeper, I did my books forever. I'm not good at books. And I finally found somebody who was good at it. And I was scared to let it go. Mm-hmm. I was scared that if I let it go, then I wouldn't know what was going on in my business. And I wouldn't know the finances, or what if they messed something up? And I didn't realize I was kind of a control freak in a way. But once I finally handed it over, I was like, wow, I should have done this sooner. And then it just frees me up to do all these other little things that I actually enjoy doing, instead of the thing that I really don't enjoy doing. So I didn't scale as fast as you. You grew fast. You grew very fast. I did. I was in the background watching you do this, and I was like, wow, this is crazy. So, but no, now I'm ready. I'm ready to I'm better at getting people in place. I'm ready to expand and grow. And Renee is part of this. She feels a need that she's good at what I'm not good at. And now we know that we don't want to do coaching. So we have we have you on our team to help us do coaching. And so, it's a team thing. And the more you get good people on your team, the better you get.
And I love that you mentioned, like, now you get to do the things that you love. Like Renee's actually helping me now with my coaching business. I'm doing everything. And now I need to start building a team there, so I can focus on my zone of genius, right? What I'm super passionate about, which is actually coaching, right? Which is truly coaching, hosting events, talking to potential clients, and all the background stuff can be done by somebody else. And that's where you need to find key people to put in those positions, because when you find them, just like you found Renee, like the strengths that they have, and you plop them in those positions, it frees you up. And it's like, wow, look at my business. And your business grows way more, because I'm sitting here struggling, trying to figure out email marketing. Like, I don't know nothing about that. Why am I spending time doing that? And it's all failing anyways. And so it really does make a difference. But I hear you on that, Camille, because my coaching business is like my little baby. And so I'm like, am I ready to, but once you find the right person to help you or people to join the team, it really, and you let go a little bit. It does.
I would have never done a podcast. We'll just say that. Like, I would have been scared to death to do a podcast. And Renee's like, let's do a podcast. And I was like, oh, really? And then also like headshots, like getting in front of the camera, the attention individually, that was really hard for me. So she kind of pushed me out of my comfort zone there. And then once I did it, I was like, oh, that was great. Yeah. And now I'm like, me and my husband, let's go get headshots together, right? Let's be the like realtor like investor team, right? So anyway, she's opened Pandora's box for me, but no, I'm excited, and it really is finding those key people, and I think learning really quickly to trust your own gut, trust your own feelings, because you'll get somebody, you're trying to fill a need so badly that sometimes you try to force somebody in that position.
Yes.
So then you try to make it work, but then when that person comes along that really, really does fit, then you're just like, wow, it finally happened. And it doesn't always happen on the first time, right? You might try to get somebody to fill the position and it just doesn't work. But then that's how you know that the next one is the perfect one for the position. So when it does come along, you know it. So
yeah, I would say it's really important to fail forward in all of this. Like, you may try to put people on your team that, just going back to what y'all said earlier, they have to be aligned with your values and with who you are. And then that's one piece of it. The next piece of it is you have to be willing to step out of the way. Like, you're the bottleneck that's keeping your business from growing. And sometimes we don't see that. Like, if somebody were to tell you, Misty, you are the reason why your coaching business is not like huge right now. And so that's like hard to hear, but it's the truth, because you are an awesome coach. You do great work with the ladies that you work with, but you are one person and you can only do so much, like, alone. And so as women, I think it's hard for us to find people that we can trust who are going to work as hard as we do. So we don't always want to take the time to find people, because we feel like it's a waste of time. If they're as good as me, they're going to own their own business. They're not going to want to work for me. So that is, fear, I think, which is false evidence appearing real. It's not true. There are people who, Misty, you were using the word earlier, zone of genius. That's my favorite term when it comes to business, because there are people whose zone of genius is administrative. Like, that's what they do. I am an expert at systems, operations, running things, profit and loss, team building, culture. Like, that's what I do. You got a platform that you need built out for your business. I'm your girl. But I'm not going to be the person who's going to be actually on site at the construction, doing the development, working, there at the actual location. Like, Camille is a rock star at that. She is going to be there with the builder looking at stuff. That's just not me. I wish I had that, but I don't. I just don't. Right. And so in order for me to grow my real estate investing business, which I love real estate investing, I have to partner with somebody like Camille, who has the ability to get out there and actually deal with the contractors and be on site and not be afraid to talk about, I'd be so scared I'm going to mess up something. The house is going to fall down. She does not have that fear at all. And then Misty, for you, your superpower is coaching. I know you have other powers too, but your zone of genius, like you said, is actually working with women who are wanting to learn how to do what we do. I don't know that I have a gifting for that, but I certainly want to help you grow your business so that as we three work together to do this, that we are able to get you coaching clients and help you grow and scale and 10x that business, because it's coming with this podcast for sure. It's coming. We're going to send everybody. Yeah, ladies, right now, if you're listening, if you need coaching, you are going to talk to Misty. So tell us a little bit about that, Misty. Tell us about your coaching business. What's it called? What do you do?
Yeah, I mean, and you're absolutely right. Like, I love real estate investing, but I love coaching. I love helping other women build their businesses. I always kind of felt like there was something missing a little bit, in my role in our real estate investing business. And it's no surprise because I always wanted to be a teacher when I was growing up. And then I moved from small town Nebraska out to California and thought, okay, I want to get into public relations. And so kind of ditched the teaching, but I always thought I kind of missed my calling. And then I got into human resources and I loved developing people. That was the side of HR that I just was truly, truly passionate about. And so being able to now pull that into, real estate investing and building businesses and working side by side with these women it truly is an absolute honor. The fact I get to do this every day, all day. I've now coached over 100 women in helping them build their real estate investing businesses, which is like blowing my mind as I say it out loud, because I didn't really start coaching like officially until July 2020. I had been providing support and guidance and before that, but actually structuring a coaching business around that's when the Her Mindset Matters REI group coaching program was in July 2020. I originally started it with another co-founder. She was my life and business coach at the time. Her name is Deidre Kiesling. She's amazing. We did some amazing work together. She really helped me with my mindset. And we crafted a program where we combined mindset with real estate investing. And that's really what separates, I would say, our program from the other programs that are out there. There's a million real estate investing programs out there. And I actually love that because everybody learns differently. They want, there's things that they want to learn that are different. Everybody's different in what really makes sense for them in regards to a coach, mentor, or program. So what we were finding was so many of the women that we were talking to, again, were struggling with starting these real estate investing businesses, but it was more mindset that was holding them back. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of success. What happens when I get my first deal? What do I do? That's a big one that people don't talk about, juggling it all, juggling being a mom, being a wife, maybe having a W-2, trying to do all of this with a real estate investing business on the side. So we really incorporated a lot of that into the education and support, along with teaching them how to actually build and launch a real estate investing business. So we're actively, so I'm the one that has taken over the program. Deidre is doing a different type of coaching now. So honored to have her as a co-founder. She's still, support in the group, but it's just me now. So, but we're really excited to be filling the next group. We have our 8th group that's going to be going through our 8-week coaching program. And we really, truly, basically what it is we start with setting goals and we start with building business plans. And then we, move to marketing campaigns and deal analysis and networking and building power teams. And the whole point is throughout the 8 weeks that you're not just consuming this information. I'm holding you very accountable that you're actually launching marketing campaigns. You are talking to sellers. You are looking at deals. And we meet weekly as a small group. It's a very small group that I don't coach more than 20 women at a time because I like to keep it small and intimate. And that's where you can bring all of your questions. That's where you get that one-on-one coaching in a small group setting. And it's just been so beautiful to see the community grow. We now have almost 90 women in that group and that have gone through the program or about to go through the program. And that's what we call our tribe. And they connect with each other. They do deals with each other. They're doing marketing campaigns with each other. They talk about the struggles of being a mom and an entrepreneur and, holding down a W-2 and building this business. And it's just been so beautiful to witness the support that we have for each other. And we've seen the success of these women, things actually happen. The results that they've been seeking for so long actually happen because they are given that support, that guidance, those resources, not just with me as their coach, but also they're connected with active real estate investors, active women real estate investors. And it really just does make such a world of a difference. And I know that's happening in your groups as well. It's like when women come together, man, we can change the world. Like it's just, we lift each other up and it's just been so exciting. And so I have that program. So that's an 8-week program. And then I also offer one-on-one coaching. Some of the women have already gone through small group coaching programs or big group coaching programs, and they are looking for one-on-one, you and me sit down once a week and really dig into your business, dig into your mindset. So I also offer that. So you have an option there to do either or. Some of the women actually do both. They go through the program and then they do one-on-one with me afterwards to really scale their business. So it's really fun because I get to craft a program around each client specifically. So whatever your goals are, whatever your struggles are with the one-on-one attention, it's if it's me and Renee, it's I'm crafting Renee's coaching program. It's all specifically around her. And I really love doing that. And that's where, big results can happen. And I would say even a little quicker, because you have that one-on-one attention and we're literally building a program around you. So it just depends on what you're looking for and what you're ready for, and, but it's been an absolute honor to see these women grow and to be by their side. And I just, like I said, I love that I get to do this every single day. It's just been awesome. We do have a website that says everything about the program, testimonials. You can register actually through that, but it's hermindsetmattersrei.com. So you can go there, find all the information. Definitely find me on Facebook, obviously Misty Flanagan. And then you can email me at misty@guidewayinvestmentpartners.com. So a lot of times, the women have questions about the program or about working with me, or they want to explore, maybe they're not sure if group or one-on-one makes sense. So I definitely encourage, when I say vet people, I'm talking about me too. Vet me, right? Let's get on a call. Let's get on a Zoom. Let's make sure that you and I working together is a good fit. It's not about just having people sign up for my program. I want to help you succeed. And so I need to make sure that we're a good fit in working together, and you should too, right? So I am more than happy. I jump on calls and Zooms all the time with women that are interested in learning more. So if you're curious about it, let's do that. Let's make sure the program is a good fit, or maybe one-on-one is a good fit. And even if it's not, I had an amazing chat with a girl, Sarah. She's so motivated and so ambitious. I'm so excited for her, but she is wanting to do multifamily. And that is not something I coach on. She's wanting to do large multifamily, syndicate deals. So it didn't make sense for us to work together. We were both bummed because we really enjoyed each other's company, and we're going to stay in contact for sure. But again, it's not about just signing people up. It's about, let's make sure the program is right for you and the resources, and that I'm the right coach and mentor for you. Because that's where you really can see true success, true results, is if, again, what we talked about, the alignment of people that you're working with, sharing similar mission statements, similar core values. When you have that respect and that trust with the people that are on your team, it's so much easier to scale the business, build the business, really see it come into what you want it to be. And it's way more fun too. So definitely reach out. I'm more than happy to jump on a call or a Zoom with anybody that's interested in learning more.
Yeah. I want to point out too, we're getting towards the end of our time together, but I just want to talk about right now, we have the gamut of ladies that listen to the show. So some of the ladies are not moms. They have fur babies, or they don't have kids at all. But then there are the ladies who listen to the show who are moms. And I just want to talk about just looking generationally at who's on this call, like the three of us. So I have two kids who are 18 and 20. And so my son is 18. He's a senior in high school, and my daughter is 20 years old, and she is a junior in college. And so I think that for me, real estate investing was something that I was not able to do full time until my kids got older, because I had a W-2 job until the beginning of 2019 was when I started doing entrepreneurial stuff full time. But before that, I had a W-2 job because I felt like I was not able to leave my job because of the demands of our household, like what we needed at home, like the income that we needed in our house. We had some real estate investing properties, but they weren't enough to retire me or to retire my husband. And then with the kids at home, I wasn't able to give the time that felt like I wanted to, because they had activities and things to go to and so forth. And so I'm just getting into, I feel like, my real estate prime, like my investing prime, where I'm really able to get into real estate investing as my kids have grown up. You two are like polar opposites. And so you are the possibility of what can be done. So Cammy, tell us about where you are kid-wise, and then Misty, tell us about where you are kid-wise.
Right. So mine, I have a 15, I have a 13, a 12, and a 9. And I literally started this when they were 4, 3, like 1.5, and didn't have the baby yet, but I was pregnant with the baby, the last one. Luckily for me, I quit my job to stay home because I knew I was having those kids really quickly. I knew I wanted to have them before I would turn 35. I started having babies when I was 30. So I basically had them all in 5 years. But I was already home. And for me, it was a really good outlet to keep my mind busy because I was stuck at home with kids. And not that I don't like that, and I know it's valuable, but I needed something for me. So for me, it was an outlet. It was an outlet, and I loved it. And my husband thought I was obsessed. But I also found this niche, I didn't know. It wasn't traditional real estate. It was this creative, like find somebody in trouble. Then I could solve the problem. And I didn't realize that I loved solving problems. So it's really interesting, kind of like Misty said, is I started in nursing because I love helping people. So I also have a background in psychology. But with all of this, it all came together. And sometimes we don't know what we want to do. Even in real estate, there's all these different options that you can do in real estate. And you might not know till you get into it and you find your core genius and you find that thing that you're really good at, and then it fits. And I think life is kind of like that we do these things and we don't realize that they're building to the next thing. And so again, like Misty said, you got to be patient and you got to try out these different avenues and you just got to move forward. It's been really, really good for me because I've been able to have my children and be home with my children, but also have this thing on the side that creates income, and then I'm able to have this outlet that fulfills me individually and makes me a better mom. And so it's just been such a blessing. And I think it was meant for my life. And that's why I want to do this with you all, is I want other women to know that this can change your life. And you don't have to be good at every little thing. You just find that thing that you're really good at and you do that. And then find those people that are really good at everything else and get them on your team. So I think this is the perfect thing for women. If they want to get into this, do it. It's amazing.
Absolutely. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So Misty, where are you on the baby journey?
Couldn't agree more with that, Cammy. I love it. And I love this question too, because when I look at the women that I've coached, I've coached women as young as, 20, right? And then we just had an amazing woman that's 65 that just joined the next Her Mindset Matters REI group round. And she's like, I'm ready. Like, let's do this. I just think that's so incredible. Like, it doesn't matter where you are in your life. If this is something that you want, you can absolutely make it happen. So I absolutely love this question. So I am now 7 months pregnant with my first child. So there is about to be a huge life change happening. And so that is part of the reason that I need to bring people in and more systems into my coaching business. Because I want to continue, I want to continue coaching. I want to continue building that business, helping other women do what I do and build their own business, exactly what they want it to be. And, that's the most exciting part is, it took me, like I said, didn't really start coaching until 2020 and we started in 2016. So for 4 years, I was doing real estate investing, but something was missing, and thank goodness I was patient and was able to allow myself to discover, what this is. And I'm glad I had people in my life that said, Misty, you really should help other women do this. Like you should structure it. Oh, no, I'm not that, no. I'm so glad I finally did it. And I joined a program to help me build a coaching business as well. So we join these tribes and these communities and these programs to help us in a variety of ways. I have mindset coaches, I have real estate investing coaches, I have coaching coaches. It really does make a world of a difference, and it shows us the possibilities that we can have for ourselves. And I love this. I was just in Mexico in September for what's called a Kaizen mastermind, and it's an entrepreneur's mastermind. And the whole theme of the mastermind was abundance, and it was having a and mentality instead of either or. Why do we have to choose motherhood or entrepreneurship or career, right? Why do we have to choose a W-2 or entrepreneurship? No, it's and that's really, once you have that mentality and that plan and that support and the resources, if you have a lot on your plate, maybe it will take you a little bit longer to get there, but you're still moving the needle forward. And that's what's most important. And, when you have all of that really to help, and you're not doing it alone, it really just does make such a difference. But I love the and mentality instead of the either or. And I'll be real honest, I used to think when I became a mom, because I knew I wanted to be a very present mother, that I was going to have to give up, my career or entrepreneurship. I don't feel that at all anymore. At all. I know for a fact I am going to keep this train rolling. I'm going to keep all of these businesses rolling. And it's just going to look a little bit different. And that's the great thing about being an entrepreneur, is we're in charge of that. So my normal may be different from other people's normal. My balance, I don't really believe in a work-life balance. It's kind of what works for you. And I've figured out what works for me is just, I'm going to navigate it as I go. And I'm putting the proper systems and people in place to help me do that.
I got you, girl.
I know. You have no idea how excited I am. I'm like, yes, I'm ready to do this. And that's where it's, I had a moment a couple of weeks ago where I was like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this? Literally, how am I going to do this? Because everything is on my shoulders for my coaching business. And thank goodness, I truly believe people come into your life at the exact right time.
Yeah.
And I could not feel more excited about the opportunity and possibility to do both. And one of the things that came up while I was reflecting on all of this and is I want to bring in that type of coaching and support into my programs now that is specifically geared towards being a mom and building businesses. And I know once I actually experience that myself, and I'm going to look into joining a program or getting a coach that's going to help me do that. And then I want to incorporate that into the coaching that I provide to the women that I'm working with, because there are so many people out there that think they can't do both or are having a hard time juggling both. And I mean, I can talk mindset all day long, but until I've lived it and breathed it and experienced it which I'm about to do, I didn't feel 100% comfortable coaching it. And that's something I'm super excited about bringing into the coaching. And again, that's going to kind of set it apart from all the other types of real estate investing coaching out there, because we're different. We're women, we're different, and that's good. Like Camille said, it's an advantage. And so it's just, I'm beyond excited to become a mom and to continue building these beautiful businesses and power teams and connections and relationships. And it's all possible. I really, truly feel it from the bottom of my heart and core and everything that it's all possible, which is just so exciting.
And I want to add something to that. I know we don't have a ton of time left, but, I felt like I had to choose if I was going to keep my job or if I was going to stay home with my kids. And I remember thinking, why do I have to choose between these two? And I didn't realize it, but I changed my mindset to, okay, I chose to stay home and that's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be with my kids. Plus, by the time I looked at it, it didn't make sense for me to go to work and still pay for daycare and everything. But I think the difference is, instead of a victim mentality, I think this is kind of what you're saying. And we think we're dictated by the things around us. Like, oh, my husband has this job, so I have to just follow him to this job. And I've got these children that I have to take care of, so I'm just stuck here in this place. But you're really not. Without realizing it, I ended up creating. And I think that's key, is we create our situations. Even if we're limited in maybe some of those choices, we can still create something. It really is a choice. It is a choice more than you realize. And sometimes we think we don't have a choice, but I think that's the difference. And that's what you learn is, no, this is about creating different situations and creating what we want it to be.
Yeah.
And it's planning.
Mm-hmm.
So.
I agree.
It's taking responsibility and control.
Yes.
You can create whatever you want in your life. And that also goes for if you want to remain a victim in your life, you know what I mean? You're creating that too. And it really is very, truly powerful. The mind is a beautiful thing, but yes, you create whatever you want. And sometimes you can get there quicker, sometimes not, but it's, you know what I mean? It's taking those small steps and doing what you need to do to get one step closer to what you are trying to create for yourself. So yeah,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Yeah. This is a whole nother conversation that we're getting into. Like we could totally go like another.
Right. We could.
Let's go deep. No, I was
well, I do real quick, like Misty, if you don't have to go, then let's just dive into this just a little bit.
Sure.
I want to talk about two things. One, if you don't have a spouse who is supportive, and I mean, like, they're not supportive of your real estate investing. We're not talking about abuse or extreme situations, ladies. That's a whole nother situation that you may need counseling for.
I'm glad you brought that up. Because I'm glad you said that. There are differences and there are things that we really can't control, and that's going to really affect us emotionally.
Sure.
But as a whole, but yes, go ahead.
Yeah, but in relatively average or normal circumstances where you have a spouse who maybe just isn't supportive, that doesn't help with kids, or your spouse is working too. They've got their own thing going, and so then you want to do this real estate investing thing. You may not necessarily have the money to do it, and so you're trying to figure out, how do I, balance all of these things? So I'm going to say, in a normal relationship, evaluate if that's the right person for you to be with. That's strange to say, but I'm just putting it out there. That's something to think about. Is this person supportive of me, my life, my existence, my hopes, my dreams, just the bigger things for me? I'm not afraid to say that. That's a conversation my husband and I had to have. I've been married now for 22 years. And there are times in our marriage where we had to go to counseling to explore, is the marriage really about both of us being fulfilled in the relationship? And so what I discovered is that it helps for my husband, because of his personality type, to have a lot of analytical data, a lot of information that he needs to help him make decisions. So perhaps you would find, ladies, that your significant other is more supportive if you provided them with the information that they needed and not have a shiny object that you're trying to do every year. Because I was all over the place. I was like, I wanted to sell insurance at one time, and then I wanted to do real estate investing. And then I thought about starting this other business, so all these businesses I'm trying to start. And he's like, wait, last month it was this, and now it's this, and now you're wanting to put another 10 grand in that, and now you want to buy houses. So you have to get, really focused over a certain period of time, so that your spouse or your significant other can see, okay, she's really serious about this. She's done her research. She's got some data for me. She's been looking into this for the last, 6 months, 12 months, or what have you. Like, really study and do what it is that you need to do, so that when you present it to them, that it sounds like a coherent, thought. And if there's a group that you can both join together, which my husband and I did this, we joined a real estate investing group. We took the lowest level, or the cheapest, level that they had, which was like $250, I think, for the year. But it allowed us to go to all the events and activities. He went to a few just to see what it was, and then I kept going by myself. But at least he knew, okay, there are other men in the room. This is normal. People are actually making money. It's not a fly-by-night, get-rich scheme type of thing. And I pretty much built our real estate investing portfolio on my own. Like, he's been supportive now because he knows it's a real thing, but I haven't had him involved. And so I know for both of you, you have a little bit different story. So can you kind of talk about your spouses and how they're involved in your business?
I love that you bring this up, because actually a lot of the women that I do coach are building their business on their own. They either are single, I'm coaching a lot of women just currently going through divorces, to be honest. COVID opened a lot of Pandora's boxes in relationships, and also exactly what you said. What am I passionate about? What fulfills me? And, are you aligned, with your significant other? And so, you can absolutely do this on your own. I will say that it's even more important that you find a group, tribe, community, whatever, coach, mentor, program, whatever it is, to help you not feel alone, because entrepreneurship can feel lonely at times. But it is absolutely possible. I've had so many women say, "Oh, Missy, you're just so lucky because you do this with your husband." And I do feel very fortunate. I have an extremely, extremely supportive husband. We've been together over 18 years, and I really am truly fortunate. And for us, it was really his dream to build this business, and I was kind of along for the ride. And as much as I love, like I said, love real estate investing, and I loved doing the foreclosure side, that was my little baby, was building that, business, but when I discovered coaching, that business is all mine. That is 100% mine. And as he supports it, again, very, very supportive. But what I found is I actually love, kind of like Camille said, I love having my own little baby that I'm working on. And he's really focused on the development side of our business. And I'm part of that, but it's really his baby, and he's taking it and running with it. And I will say that was one of the important things for us, was establishing roles and responsibilities. Mm-hmm. So whether you're partnering with a friend or just another investor, a family member, a spouse, really understanding your zone of genius. Mm-hmm. So mine is more in the people side of things. So in our development companies, I help with the marketing, I help with investor relations, more creative, more people side of things. And he's the analytical, he's the engineer, right? And I remember when I had to present, when I wanted to join this group coaching program to help me build my coaching business, I came to him with the dream, right? And he's like, "No, I need to see numbers. I need to understand what this is." And so you're absolutely right, is get them to bring it to them in a way that they're going to process it. Mm-hmm. And that's a big part of when I jump on, discovery calls or enrollment calls with women to see if it's a good fit. They're all gung ho, and they're like, "Now I got to go talk to my husband." And that's the first thing I say. How do we need to present this to him? What do you need from me to provide to him to show him, how this all works? And because we are more emotional and they are more typically analytical. And so, having that support and getting them to understand, and I've had great conversations with husbands that join the call and they're like, "Yeah, no, I get it now. Thank you for explaining all of this." So really presenting it in that way. But I think too, most importantly, is that roles and responsibilities and understanding where each of you steps in, because then that also creates an equal partnership. I used to feel like, oh, I was just following Jason, where now I don't feel that at all. Even in the businesses that we have together. And then now I have my own coaching business. I really feel, like I'm an equal partner in all of that. And that has helped me in my self-confidence, because I didn't want to just follow him wherever and not be true to myself. It was, no, I want to really understand what my role is and where my strong suits are, where my zone of genius is, and really play a big part in those areas. And I do truly feel like that. And I think that's what has helped me feel fulfilled in all of our businesses. So that's kind of, I guess, my 2 cents on that. So
yeah. And I get a lot from what you two are both saying. And I've watched Renee, our husbands are kind of similar, actually. And I've watched Renee and how she does that. And I'm like, wow, I should have learned this a long time ago. But I would say it was pretty messy at first. I had this role of taking care of the kids, and now I'm all of a sudden transforming into this business person. And it was a struggle. I will really say it was a struggle. And then I also think he may have felt like, and I didn't notice this at the time, but he may have felt like it wasn't his baby, it was my baby, right? I was so into this. But I think I just kept pushing forward and kept going. Looking back, I don't know how I could have changed that, I guess. Maybe could have presented things a little better, because I think he saw it as I just jumped into this thing that I don't know what I'm doing, and it freaked him out and he's scared to death. But behind the scenes, I was actually really studying, really learning a lot, really intrigued, but he didn't see the preparation underneath. And he just saw this. And I am the ideas person. I am the one that's like, this can happen and this can happen and everything's going to work out. And he's more of a, I don't see it. I don't feel it. I don't know what you're talking about. Like when I talk, sometimes I wish we had a communicator in the middle of us, like translating.
Don't we all?
Like I think Renee, she's actually stepped in, and I think she's the communicator for the middle of us, because I'll say something and I think she can see Kyle's face, like, oh my gosh, what are you saying?
Then I fix it for Kyle. Because he's the same as my husband, so I know that guy.
Yes. And I think I was so frustrated. I would get so frustrated and I'd be like, feel not understood. And, but honestly, and I think I would maybe kind of blame him in some ways, like he's the negative one and I'm the optimistic one, but it's really not that either. It's just, we process differently. We learn differently. It's been fun to just see him. It has taken him, literally, it took 6 years for him to finally, I think, transform and see the vision. Now we're in it 10 years and now he's actually part of it, right? He just got his real estate license and now this is his role and this is my role. And I see him, but it took time. It took a long time, like you're saying, with these roles. So I see him loving this more than he ever thought he would. And that's really fun. It's really fun to be in the same place. But when you're not, it can be really hard, can be very hard. And it took a long time.
Success helps too. So I will say this, that my husband became a believer when we started making money on the houses. So he was willing to buy the next one and buy the next one and buy, we got up to 10. So before we started selling off properties to go into multifamily. But at the time that we were making those purchases on those homes, when he saw the cash flow and the money coming in, and again, belonging to that group that was really mostly men, that kind of made him feel a little bit more comfortable. But nothing says success, ladies, like a check in the mail or direct deposit.
Absolutely.
That kind of squashes all the yin yang you're getting out of your man. So, or out of your significant other. So you can kind of, do this as much as you can on your own, but the proof is really in the paycheck. You start bringing in money, they will leave you alone. But until you're bringing in any money, you're going to hear it. But you cannot give up. Do not quit. Join those groups, get the coaching, get all the free education you can. You can get a college degree on YouTube, not literally, but like YouTube has 1,000 hours of real estate investing information. You can become an encyclopedia of knowledge for free, just between YouTube and going to meetups. Go to meetups, networking events, all the free stuff you can. Connect with people, find private money. There's no reason why you can't start doing this, even if you don't have the money to do it, because private lenders will be willing to invest with you or let you do the work. You can figure that part out if you have the knowledge. If they see she's serious, she's got a great work ethic, and she knows a lot. And the private investor a private lender has money. So they've got money, you've got the know-how. Get it moving. Moving.
You have to implement. It's not just about consuming the information. That's called passive action taking is the consumption of information. We want massive action taking, where you actually implement. So just be mindful of that. Just because I do have so many women that are like, oh, I've educated myself on real estate investing for 7 years, but have not then done anything. With it, Right. So that's where we have to move the needle forward, even if it's a small, but absolutely. I mean, that is where the proof is in the pudding there. And I remember my husband, when I approached him about this coaching thing, he's like, coaches only make like 40 grand a year on average. Right. And I didn't know that because I didn't look it up, because I'm not illogical, or analytical. I'm like, this is the dream, babe. I can do this. And, I have far surpassed that. And he's like, oh, like, wow, this is a real thing here. Like, this is a business, I've made more money coaching than I ever did in my career and whatever else. And, so now we have multiple streams of income where we're through the real estate investing and then now the coaching. And the good thing is I've got to merge both of those worlds, which is
and you're helping people. You're helping,
which is my why. That is my purpose. That is my passion in life. You can ask my mom from the time I was tiny, Misty, what do you want to be when you grow up? I just want to help people. I don't care what you call me. I don't care what title you give me. I just want to help and impact people. And now I get to do that on a level, that I didn't even dream was possible. And that's another thing too, is when you find something that you're passionate about, it's so much easier to turn that into a business and make money. And so when we talk about the zone of genius and really being in that and playing, just really, just tapping into that, it's, I'm not the one that's on the job site building these houses, right? That's Jason's zone of genius. But when it comes to having investor relations and talking to them and building those relationships to get people to invest in those projects all day long, right? So, that's how we can really understand that in our businesses together. And then, now I'm starting to understand my zone of genius in my coaching business and bringing on beautiful people like Renee to help me with everything else. So it makes it so much easier. And it's funny because then you actually make more money, you have more impact, you're doing more, when you focus on the thing that you're better at and you're more passionate about, and let everything else go and have somebody else in their zone of genius step in. And again, with the roles and responsibilities. And yes, it does take time. Jason and I were like on each other's toes for years. The first 2 years of our investing business. Wait, you're doing that? I thought I was doing that. Wait, what? And having to figure that out. And then it was finally like, okay, this is what I'm good at. This is what I want to do. This is what you're good at. And it takes time, but it does make a big difference for sure.
And you know what I love too? We all align. So here we have this podcast or this time that we're way over time, but it's because we align and we feed off of each other. And when you find that, it's just amazing. It's so amazing. Yes. So thank you so much. You're amazing.
Yeah. Thank you,
all of you.
Yes. One last time before we go, can you just give us your contact information once more for ladies who want to reach out to you?
Yes, absolutely. Definitely find me on Facebook. I'm on there a lot. I'm kind of on the other platforms, but not as much. And then my email is misty@guidewayinvestmentpartners.com. And then definitely check out the www.hermindsetmatters.com to see more about the 8-week coaching program that we offer women, and see if you want to join our tribe, join our program, and then also we can chat about doing one-on-one coaching if that's something that you're interested in. But if you're looking to get started in real estate investing or even scale, I've coached women that are more experienced and want some help with their mindset and setting proper systems in their business to scale. Let's chat, right? If you're ready to go to the next level in your business, whether that's just getting started or, scaling it, it's like, I want to help in any way that I can. So I would love to chat with anybody who's interested in chatting more about that.
Well, thank you, Miss Misty Flanagan. And thank you, Camille Davis. Yes. I'll see you next time.
Thank you both.
Yeah, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's all for this episode. Come back soon for more tools, resources, and great stories from successful women entrepreneurs. We believe you absolutely can build a business you love and have passive income. Until next time, thank you for listening.
Here we go.